Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary.
I'm Linda.
We're Pinky Mile Sisters in the kitchen, and we are enjoying this fall weather. Wasn't it nice?
Beautiful.
So nice.
You know, my heater actually came on
Did
my
it?
car.
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
No, you don't want no heater yet. Not you don't. Now, Sunday, I like to froze to death in church. I mean, I was so cold. Anyway, but we're thankful for the cool weather.
We sure are.
For a change. And we're going to be doing a Texas pecan butterscotch cake. And we're only doing the cake because there's so many steps in doing this cake. It's not a just jump in the kitchen and whip it up. It is a process, and that's why we're doing 2 videos. Tomorrow we will do the frosting and frost the cake because there's
It's worth it.
Yeah.
She made this for one of the cakes for my birthday party.
Yeah, it is a delicious cake.
Really
It
good.
is a lot of steps to it, but it is well worth it. First of all, we've got 2 cups of chopped pecans, and I will tell you, I chopped these. Really, I chopped them a little bit too fine, so I'm really not going to use the mush. It's supposed to be roughly chopped. You're only using 1 cup in the cake, and then the other you use later. Okay, and this is a cup of I use Angel Flake.
Yeah, I do too.
Baker's Angel Flake, coconut, and we're going to put those in the oven to toast. And they're going to toast 5 to 8 minutes. So Linda is going to keep track of that because I don't want to overcook them, because you have to stir them about halfway through. So in about 5 minutes, she will stir them so they'll just be lightly toasted. You do not want to brown the coconut or the. Did you figure it out, Linda?
I thought I knew,
Her
but
timer,
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, her timer is different from mine. Now, this is not the size pan that I'm using. I've got my pans over there, and I'll show them later. This is a small. Is this a 6? This is 6
That's
inch.
6 inch.
You line your pans. It takes 3 8-inch pans, and the pans needs to be 2 inches deep. Now, because this is a big cake, because it rises up. So don't use a shallow pan because it'll run over. So you need a 2-inch rim. Well, this is 2 inch. And 8-inch, 3 of them. But I'm going to show you, if you don't have parchment paper rounds like Linda. Now, Linda buys them already cut. I don't. I make them on my own. I take parchment paper. These are. Does yours come apart like that?
They don't.
I ought to send these things back.
Well, you ought to,
because mine comes apart every time I pick them up. I put the pan on the parchment paper, and I draw a circle around it. And that's what I do. That's how I make mine. And then I cut them out. This is it. I cut the round out. Then I cut strips. And that's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You cut strips in here. I would suggest, because you can cut the parchment paper any way you want to, but I have learned from experience that if you cut shorter pieces, it goes in this round circle a whole lot better. Does yours do that? That you pre-cut?
Well, I buy mine already
I know you
cut.
do.
But if you put one that's not the size, they do overlap.
Yeah.
They don't follow the curve.
Right.
Well, unless they're the exact same size of the pan,
Yeah.
and you do have to cut
Yeah.
them.
So I cut them in smaller strips. You butter your pans with butter, soft butter. Butter your pan first, and then put your parchment paper down in the pan. You butter the sides also. Then you take your strips, and that butter will hold this parchment paper in. Go around. And then, and like I said, smaller pieces. I use about 2 this size and the 8-inch and about half. You can overlap it, but you have to put butter on. After you buttered your pan, you put your parchment paper on here, and you butter the top of the parchment paper also, around the edges and the bottom. So that's how I do when you, if you don't have the pre-cut like Linda has. So thank you, Linda. All right, now, while we're doing that, we can start. And this recipe is so long, complicated, I had Linda to print it out for me.
Are you through with the scissors, Mary?
I'm through with the scissors. I'm through with this pen. We do not use we don't use regular sugar in this. We use light brown, Imperial light brown sugar. And you pack it, 2 cups of light brown Imperial brown sugar. And 1 stick of softened butter, and I'm going to mix it up. I had it laying out so it'd be soft.
Mary, do you want the egg yolks in this bowl and the whites in that
yes,
one?
Yes, please, yes. And Linda, I have 6 eggs out. You can go ahead and bring them over here. Or you got your mind on the pecans. Do you want to just...
It's almost time to get those out. I
Okay.
just thought I would just
Okay.
kind of get this started here.
I forgot what I was going to tell you. Oh, Linda, you notice that I have 6 eggs out?
Yes.
Look how small they are. It's
They
supposed
are
to be
small.
large eggs, so I'm putting 6 instead of 5.
These are small.
It calls for 5. If your eggs are actually a large egg, 5 eggs is what you need, and you separate them because we beat the whites separate. So Linda's going to let me get this right here kind of creamed a little bit, and then I will add the brown sugar in here with the butter. This is 2 cups of packed brown sugar. And I creamed the brown sugar with the butter. This is a big cake, a really big cake. But when I first made this, I thought, it doesn't have any sugar in it. I wondered that brown sugar is going to work. Well, it sure was. I'll be honest with you, it's one of my favorite cakes.
It was delicious.
And Linda toasted her pecans and her coconut in the microwave. You can do that too.
This is all you want, Mary.
Yes.
This is good enough.
Yeah, that's good enough.
And then this has got to cool.
Yes, the coconut and the pecans have to cool because we add that to the mixture in a few minutes. It dirties a lot of dishes. But Linda's been on vacation. She's back. And Carla had to...
Yeah, she brought us all something that was so sweet.
Oh, that's right. I'm going to show you in a minute something she brought me. And Linda. She brought Linda the same thing. I'm just trying to get that butter creamed up good. I actually should have creamed that butter a little more than what I did before I put the sugar in here. Because if you whip that butter and get broke up good, you don't have to mix it with the brown sugar as long. But I got in a hurry and didn't mix up my my butter good. So I'm gonna try to chop it up a little bit. I don't want pieces of butter. I want it all to mix up.
Now, do you have an extra set of beaters, Mary?
For this?
Yeah.
No. Do you?
I do because I burn up one of my KitchenAid hand mixers and
Yeah.
I saved the beaters.
Oh, well, that was smart. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to put 1 egg at a time in this. One egg yolk at a time.
I'm not talking as much as I usually do today because I don't want to mess anything up here. But I do have something funny to tell y'all.
All right, well, tell us.
So the other day, sometimes we don't see messages for several days after they're posted.
I know.
And the other day, I noticed that I had a new message, or at least it showed the notification. I went back to read it. This was on my Pamper Chef page. And this woman, girls, y'all gonna laugh at this.
What?
She said, you do know it's not a sin to put some makeup on your face to improve your appearance, don't you?
What?
Funny.
Oh, rude.
I thought to myself, honey, I've had this face 74 years. There ain't no way to change it.
Wow.
That was hilarious.
That was rude. It was.
I hadn't always had the scars, but I thought it was so funny.
That was rude.
That wasn't very nice.
No, it wasn't nice.
You need to learn to mind their name.
Somebody wasn't taught to be nice, was it?
And that, let me tell you, you ain't got something kind to say, right, Linda? Just keep your mouth shut.
Makeup maybe can fix your face, but it can't fix your attitude.
That's a good one. Oh.
I don't know.
I use this because sometimes you need a little bit of help to get this out here.
While she's finishing that, I'm going to mix up in another bowl.
That
But-
woman didn't know what a laugh she gave me on that post.
Well, I'm glad you laughed about it, because I might not have been so nice to her if I'd have been the one seeing it.
Okay.
You're
this-
All these Southerners say, bless her, Lord.
Bless your heart.
That's funny.
Yep. Okay, you just want to set the egg whites aside, right, Mary?
Yes, please. All right. Let me go beat the rest of this up. I told y'all this ain't no quick cake. But,
And you tell me when you want me to hand you something.
okay, I'm through with that. Thank you. Just beat up your egg yolks in your sugar and your butter.
So I finally reached the age where I'm not young and cool anymore. Y'all know my favorite scripture is, right?
Right.
Peacemakers, blessed
Yes.
are the peacemakers.
Yes.
So I found a t-shirt with the word peacemaker on it. And I was like, yes, I got to get it. So I wore it. And I came home to Braden. I was like, look at my new shirt. Isn't it cool? And he said, Mom, you know that's a superhero, right?
That's funny.
No. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside. Put this over
Okay.
here. And we're going to... Oh, I forgot something. Oh, goodness. I told you, this is a half a cup of... they got that little
Coconut oil.
Yes, coconut oil, and that's supposed to be beat in this. You also need to add... You add your coconut oil when you put your butter in there and your sugar, but I said it, I had it over there and I forgot to put it in here, so I got to mix it up in here. Coconut oil, half a cup. It's hard for me to cook and talk. I like to follow. I should put the directions right here in front of me.
I'm trying not to say anything I hope that didn't mess you up.
No, you're not doing it. You're not doing it at all. I just got to mix it. It goes mixed with this, so really it doesn't.
Okay.
It's not a big mistake. It just has to be mixed with this bowl, because there's several bowls that I do. All right, now
sure
set
looks
that
pretty.
aside. Well, shoot. Okay. Now, this is a half a cup of buttermilk.
Do you need
That,
your little
you just have
spatula?
that same spatula, be fine. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Well, I probably, you still got that spatula?
I sure do. I'm not putting the
And the
sink.
cup too.
Okay.
I'm going to use that same cup. It's a half a cup of ricotta. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
A half a cup of ricotta cheese. Linda didn't know this was in that cake that she eat. I asked her this morning, did you eat a piece of your birthday part of your cake at your birthday party?
Well,
She said, I sure did.
that
Didn't take, you couldn't
no,
taste
you
it.
couldn't taste it. And I'm okay with
Yeah.
cream cheese or stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm okay with sour cream cooked in something.
Yeah.
I just don't like it by itself.
A half a cup of ricotta cheese.
But the funny part about it is Mike ate a piece and he loved it.
I know.
And he sure wouldn't have eaten it if he'd have known it was
Leave
in
it
there.
right there. I
Okay.
might need that again. But I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. Now, the flavorings.
feel like I'm not doing anything, but I'm
well,
not.
that's okay. I'll let you measure this out for me.
She's already greased the pan, so I don't have to do that.
I grease the pans first. I'll show you that in a minute. This is caramel syrup, and it calls for caramel flavoring, and I couldn't find any caramel flavoring. Have you ever seen any caramel flavoring?
Don't know that I have, unless Watkins would have had it a long time ago. But I've used this for flavoring.
But I'm going to
too.
use this goes in coffee. Is what?
Yeah.
But give me a teaspoon of this, please, into this bowl.
Okay.
I'm
You just want me to go ahead and pour it in there?
yes.
Smells good.
And then this is what Linda brought me back from Jamaica, or is that where? Or
I think I
Cozumel?
got that in Green Cayman or Cozumel. I can't remember which one.
Some pure vanilla, and so we always use Pampered Chef, but we're going to use this today since she brought this to me this morning.
She brought us both one.
I need a teaspoon of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It calls for a lot of flavor, and let me make sure that I got that right.
Smells good.
Doesn't it smell good? Yeah, because 1 teaspoon.
Mama,
What?
is flavoring, is that like an old-fashioned Southern way of saying vanilla? Is it all flavoring? Is that when you say flavoring, you mean vanilla?
Vanilla.
Or is there other flavorings?
When I say vanilla, I'm a flavor, and that's what I think of is vanilla.
Okay.
If it's strawberry, I say strawberry. But
We only use extract,
Yeah.
and that may have been what you were hinting at. I don't know, Carla. But when we say flavoring, we're talking about vanilla extract.
Okay.
You can buy imitation, which vanilla extract is not cheap. But you can buy imitation, but if you can afford it, the extract is so much better. Yeah. Do you want me to?
Yes, put a teaspoon of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Mexican vanilla is cheap.
Well, Mexican vanilla is really good too.
Okay.
And this is 100%.
I'm going to put another teaspoon of that in there.
Okay.
If you're using vanilla and not caramel vanilla, you use 2. So it's 3 teaspoons altogether. So if you don't have caramel, just add an extra teaspoon of your vanilla. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this together. Just gonna mix this all together. I counted the bowls that I dirtied that day.
Oh my goodness. Somebody mentioned the other day too in one of the comments about oh my goodness, now I just forgot what I was going. Oh yeah, scraping the bowls. Ma Lee always taught us to scrape the bowl.
Yes.
And in a lot of, and we're not knocking other cooking shows at all. You know, everybody that does what we do, they're just doing
Do
it
it different.
Yeah, everybody does their own thing. But it just to be such a pet peeve of mine when on the
I've seen
network
them.
shows where they would just leave half the stuff in the bowl, not half of it, but a lot in the bowl.
Yeah.
But they were, they were on a show, so theirs are different. But we scrape our bowls.
Yeah.
That's what Mom taught us to do, and that's what we do.
Because this is ricotta cheese, a half a cup of buttermilk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a teaspoon of caramel. And we're going to set this aside.
Okay.
Like I said over
So
here.
which bowl you need back now?
Now, well, I'm going to do this time. I could have dirtied the bowl, but I had this measuring cup, so I'm doing the flour and the dry ingredients in this measuring cup. You can dirty another bowl if you want to, but I'm not.
Do you need your teaspoon measure? Or is it another measure?
Yes, I do need the teaspoon.
Okay, I washed it.
Okay, I need a teaspoon of that's 3/4 a teaspoon of that. You let me get the
Okay.
3/4. I forgot to get it out. Just use that half and a little over. Teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powders, and 3/4 a teaspoon of baking soda. And that is it.
I'm trying to smooth this out, but okay, in here,
In there. Mm-hmm.
and then a half of this, right?
And then, yeah. 3/4 a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt. You got a teaspoon? Teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powders. and then I just take a whisk and get that baking powders and yes, if you have self-rising flour, then this is the same thing as self-rising flour. I just added salt and although the baking soda is not in all self-rising. So if you're using self-rising flour, you still need to add the baking soda, not the salt or the baking powders.
I use more all-purpose flour than I do self-rising.
I do too.
I mostly use self-rising for biscuits or something like that.
Okay, so that's our flour mixer. Now we're going to start combining this stuff.
So tell me which bowl you want first.
I think I want that brown sugar bowl. And another large bowl. And this is on our recipe. That's where I printed this out off of our website. Instructions. Now I gotta beat the egg whites.
Oh, okay. So let me wash your beaters.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Okay. The cream mixture with the buttermilk mixture. Okay. I'm not gonna beat this. I'm gonna stir it. This is my cream mixture, and I'm going to add this. That's a little bitty. I don't know why I've got so many little gnats running around here. But I pour a little bit of this buttermilk mixture in here, in with your brown sugar, stir it up. Linda, do you want to show them a picture of it?
Oh, no wonder I couldn't get that in there. I'm doing it on the wrong side.
And then I add some flour. You alternate your buttermilk with your flour. I'm not beating this. Okay, we're beating the egg whites, Linda.
Oh, okay. So you want me to? Can you mute my thing while I beat these? Thank you.
Just beat them till they're stiff, but not dry. Okay. Add a little bit of the buttermilk mixture. In with the flour. In with some more flour. Oops. I'm going to put the rest. Kind of third your liquid with your flour, and you always end in flour. So let me wash my hands. Got a little bit of seems a little dry, but it'll be fine time we work the egg whites in here. I thought about putting those egg whites in my big mixer, but it was just easier to use that hand mixer. Just kind of work it around.
You can look at these here and see if you think that's beat enough. They're still kind of soft.
Okay.
Maybe a little more.
Maybe a little bit more. Just make sure you get all your flour worked off the bottom of the bowl. They're probably ready
I
now.
make it worse because I was closer to
No,
the
I think that's okay.
closer to the speaker. Are you
Now,
through with the
I'm
mixer?
through with the mixer.
Okay.
Now I'm adding the coconut. All the coconut, which is a cup. Is that right? I want to make sure I ain't putting because this you put some things. Okay, do I put all the coconut in there? Yeah, I was pretty sure I was right. I had to check myself. You do add the whole cup of coconut. Thank you, Linda.
Welcome.
You put your coconut and your pecans in here before you put your egg whites. The egg whites is the last thing you put in here. The pecans, let me get a cup. You put a cup of pecans in here.
That looks so good.
Unknown caller.
These are I'm using fourth cup measuring cup because all my 1 cups is over there, so I have to use 4 of them.
And you're saving this.
I'm saving the rest of that. Those are for when you get your cake out, you put some in the frosting on each layer.
Okay.
All right, so I got to get the coconut and pecans mixed in this.
Are you ready? Oh no, you still got to fold in your egg whites.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this in here folded good because I don't want to stir it after I put the egg whites in it. So I'm gonna get the coconut and pecans really mixed good.
Still thinking about our cousins from last week.
I know we had
I
such a
enjoyed
visit with
so
them.
much getting to
I did too.
visit with
It was
them.
a sad time, but Aunt Lucy would have been proud.
She would have been. She
Wouldn't
would
been
have been real happy that we all as many people came as
Right.
they did.
Okay. Yeah. Fold in a little bit.
Did I get them okay?
Yeah, they're fine. Put them all in here at once because once you start stirring, you really not supposed to stir whites. You're supposed to just kind of fold
them. Yeah.
in here. So, thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Told you it's a big bowl. So I just want to fold them in here. You made a tall cake.
It did. It was a beautiful
I
cake.
was afraid that I couldn't get the cake top on it, but I did. I know there's gnats in here. I guess that's fruit flies or something. Fruit gnats.
You love having fruit out, but they do at my house too. It just, I know there's a way to get rid of them, but
Did you ever wonder what's the difference in folding and stirring?
well, folding.
But I know
they
what the
used
difference
to say
is,
to
but-
go in an 8 motion, but I don't do that. I just put that in. But
I just try to,
stirring, you're a little more vigorous.
right.
Mixing it a little more vigorous than you are folding.
I just don't want to whip it. I guess that's the way I always thought about it. Just don't whip it. Just get the white where you can't see it. That's the way that's the way I do. So, anyway, smelling good too.
It smells really good.
Just got to get them whites in there where they're not white.
Have you checked on pecans yet this year, Mary?
No, I bought those at Sam's yesterday.
Did you?
I hope they're good. They look good, but no, I hadn't. The church usually gets them from down south, but I don't know. And we have them shipped to us, but we buy a lot,
Yeah.
and then we divide the ladies in the church. We find out how many pounds they want, and we buy them all at one time. Have you checked?
No, I haven't. I'm fixing to because it's about time to start getting some.
I'll find out if the church gets in if you want any.
Okay.
Sister Boatman is doing better, but her procedure is a slow process with her back.
Yeah, healing.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the cake
I am
pans?
ready for the cake. If they want to see this, it's you don't see any clogged lumps of white, but you
Right.
can see just a little bit of white in there. but it's not. So I think I got it.
Do you want me to hold that or not? Or just
No, I
hold
can
the
do it.
pan up?
I can do it. This is our pan. My pan. I told you I already put the butter and the parchment paper down. I don't measure, Linda. Do you? Hand me another
No,
pan.
I just eyeball it.
From someone that wants to know if you could put this in a 9x13 pan or not.
Well, you could, but it would probably be too much dough.
Yeah.
You have to use a 9x13 pan and then into another bowl.
Whoops, sorry.
It's okay. I wasn't watching how much I was putting in them. Now let's see how much is in them, and then I'll add some.
You've done a good
Extra.
job. Just guessing. Just guesstimating.
Well, I declare, I dropped some. My glasses is falling down on me. I think I put too much in that one. I dropped some there. You can just wipe up with the paper towel. I'll scrape all this out because. Okay.
You got it all?
I'm through. Yep. Well, let me do the bowl here on the side of my.
Okay.
Just a minute. You know, it's always a lot on your spatula,
Yeah, it is.
and you cook these for about 25 minutes. But I'm gonna check them in 20. Okay.
That's really pretty, Mary.
Thank you. Alrighty. Thank you, Linda. I've got some cake dough on my hands. I need to wash my hands to
Oh, okay.
be able to put them in the oven.
This is one I've been drying my hands with.
Okay.
That other one I drew.
Okay, thank
dried.
you. All right, we just put them in the pan,
Beaters.
in the oven.
You put all yours on one
I
shelf?
put all on one shelf. They'll fit. It's my 9-inch cake pans that
Yeah,
won't
you
hardly
can.
fit in the oven.
Okay, 20
3 of 'em.
minutes for the timer.
Yeah, put it for 20 minutes. It may take 25 minutes. But I'll check them in 20 minutes. And then they have to cool for 10 minutes on a rack. Cool them for 10 minutes on a rack, and then after they cool in the pan on the rack for 10 minutes, then you turn them upside down and put them on a rack to cool. And when I'm almost sure, I do my cakes different sometimes, but I think this one you put while they're warm. I wrap them in saran wrap and put them in the freezer. The reason that they ask you to put them in the freezer after you wrap them good in saran wrap and put them in the freezer, it says put them in the freezer for 30 minutes, but I'm not dressing this cake until tomorrow, so I'm leaving them in the freezer all night. I'll get them out when I get up in the morning.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the icing that you put on there, it holds better on the cake.
When it's cold, yeah.
So you can put them in the freezer for 30 minutes because it takes about 30 minutes to make your frosting. It actually takes longer than that because you have to cool it. Once you get it made, you have to cool it. So they want that cake to be cold, so if your icing is not completely cool, that cold cake will make it stick to the cake, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Something cold, you put something warm on there, if that cake is cold, it's gonna stick. So anyway, we're going to wait till that cake comes out, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. Linda, you want to tell them a little bit about your trip? She went on a cruise.
Oh, yeah. It was so much fun. If you've never been on a cruise, you need to book one because it was the best vacation ever. We went to Jamaica, and we went rafting with bamboo down a little river.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I saw those pictures.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
too.
And and we learned some Jamaican words, which I can't remember them. I recorded it though, so I couldn't forget. Then we went to Grand Cayman and swam with the dolphins. And then we went to Cozumel and visited the Mayans. We ate some authentic Mayan food.
Yeah.
And
Did you like it?
yeah, it was like authentic. So there was like corn husks and like they made it from. So other than that, I mean, it tastes good.
Yeah.
But we had some Mayan guacamole. And some tamales, but the tamales aren't like American tamales. They're it's more like a pizza. Like they like layer it.
Okay.
It's not like all in one. At least for the Mayans.
Yeah.
And then we had some Mayan chocolates. It was good. Cocoa beans are nasty though. And yeah, I mean there was just so much to do on the ship.
Yeah.
So fun.
What did you say this morning? The Jamaicans would say,
No problem.
No
problem. Or yaman.
okay. Carly, you want to show them your new glasses?
Well, I guess.
They're really pretty.
She got new glasses yesterday.
My
And
sister helped me pick them out. She's our family fashionista.
Carla didn't trust her judgment because she didn't like the one she got the last time.
She
So
can pick the most expensive ones.
yeah, Linda has
Really
it.
bad photo. It doesn't even matter. She's still gonna pick the ones that cost the most.
Linda.
But she's right.
I have good taste.
Yeah, expensive taste.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So October the 22nd, we're going to be at Bear Creek from 10 o'clock to 12. They have us on their page. So anyone that goes to their page will see that we're going to be there. If you plan to come and you have an RSVP, is that right?
Yeah.
RSVP. You need to let us know how many is in your party. 903-235-4804. We're looking forward to that. If you want to buy lunch there, they do serve lunch. They have the big pit where you can choose your own meats and sides and everything. That has nothing to do with us, but it's it's there if you want to buy it, and the meat is really good.
yeah. And this weekend we're going to Fort Worth, Lord willing,
Yes.
For Linnell's birthday party. She
To
turned
be
75.
Yep.
So we're going to her birthday party this weekend. So we're looking forward to that. And we'll probably film a little bit of it.
Maybe film,
not the
yeah.
party, but we'll do some. We'll do some filming.
We'll do some filming,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And we're not sure yet what day. If we're going a day ahead of time, if we're going to spend the night, we're not sure. We hadn't worked out the details yet, but you'll get should get some filming. Get to see us either going or while we're there, or maybe both. Who knows?
Yeah. We would like to say that there is someone that has already copied our picture with our pink outfit on and created them Pinky Mouse cakes, cookies, and candy. We just found out that. So you just make sure that you look at how many followers we have to make sure you're on the right page. Now, if you go to our page, we have that little logo up there. And so I don't think that other website didn't have that on the picture. So anyway, we just we love our followers. We love y'all so much.
We do.
And we appreciate all y'all keeping up with us and watching us and all your comments and all the stars you send us. And we really appreciate it. We just don't appreciate people taking our videos, our hard work that we do, and putting it and creating the page with it. But that's what Facebook, that's what people do, and Facebook they're not gonna stop it. It don't make no difference.
Evidently not.
And the check mark, they just not letting us have a check mark right now. So
And the let's see, what was I going to say? People will, they will tell us. I've seen this several times. Either someone messaging us that why aren't we on anymore, and they haven't seen us in a while. And we are on every week, every week, Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're in Texas, so we're at Central Time. We normally, unless there's something going on, like last week we had a funeral, we normally cook 2 times a week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're out and about. Sometimes it's Thursday, sometimes it's Friday. This weekend it's going to be the weekend,
Right.
not Thursday or Friday. So
Right.
we will not be on Thursday or Friday unless Mary or I one just happen to get on and say something.
Yeah. That other website, it puts the time at 8 o'clock Pacific. Pacific Standard
Yeah,
Time.
because we're 10. And
Yeah. So that's one thing you can tell if it says they're 8 o'clock on the website. It's not us.
Yeah, we're 10 o'clock. So if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be 8 o'clock your time. But we didn't create the page that said 8 o'clock because that'd be 6 o'clock our time, and we're not cooking at 6 o'clock in the morning.
We might be up, but we won't.
Right.
Won't be cooking.
Absolutely.
So
we're not trying to be ugly or mean. I wish that people in the world were not. Everybody was honest and everybody was forthright, but they're not, and we know that, and we know we can't change it.
And they're doing it to everybody that doesn't have that check mark. So it's just something that we have to deal with, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. So anyway,
It seemed like there was something else we were supposed to tell. What was? Can you think of?
we're getting our gifts together that we're going to give away at
Bear Creek.
Yeah, we're going to try to do a little something for everybody that has put the effort to come.
Right. Because, people take out, some people are driving a ways and they take out their whole day to come. And we just love that you're going to come. And we wish we could meet everybody. I mean, it would be so nice to, just have one big meet and greet, but we know that's not possible. Yeah. But we really do appreciate everyone that puts the effort forth.
Yes, we do. I've gotten quite a few. I think it's 25 or 27.
That has committed to come.
Yeah, and there's probably some that hasn't committed that probably will be coming, but they just hadn't committed yet.
And hopefully we'll have a really nice Saturday, a nice day for traveling too for y'all.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. It's on a hill, and it's just East Texas.
It is.
East
Texas.
Texas.
A beautiful, beautiful location.
We have, for those of you who don't know, of course, the state of Texas is huge, and on the west side of Texas, everything's flat. You can drive for miles and miles and miles and see lights to a town. 40, 50 miles before you get there. In East Texas, we have natural hills and valleys and natural boundaries, rivers and creeks and streams and stuff. So our counties are all different kinds of shapes and sizes, but it's not like that in West Texas. They're like box squares, rectangles, stuff like that.
Because it's all desert. No trees or nothing. You could drive for miles going out towards West Texas and not see nothing but windmills or...
when we were kids and we were going out there for Daddy to work in the gin, you remember all those nights that we would be driving and we'd see the lights and we'd think, oh, we're getting close to a town. And we would drive. It seemed like we wasn't driving. Daddy was driving, but it seemed like for an hour or more before we would actually come into the town, because you can literally see that far.
Yeah. It's you can see for a long ways. It's a long, lonesome road going to Amarillo.
On 287?
On 287.
Oh, that is the longest road. I have driven from east to the west coast and from the Canada line to the Mexico line, and you have too. And I don't think there's a road that is any more straight and lonesome than that road is.
I drove 700 miles and didn't stop. And I was going down that road. I mean, that's part of the way.
Right.
I was coming from, I think it was Lubbock. Somewhere out in that way. I was working out there, and I stopped. This is before the girls, either one of the girls lived in Wichita Falls, but that's where I made it to. I made it to Wichita Falls and spent the night there in Wichita Falls.
And they have grass fires through there because
and
storms. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
You don't want to be on that road when it's storming. Yeah. It's like Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
They have, when you're coming down the pike in Oklahoma, coming like from if you're coming from Oklahoma City back into Texas, there's actually storm shelters on that road. Carla, you probably know that more than I do.
Yes, that's where I live, right there. One time, years ago, Mom and me took Mindy home, and when we were coming back, it was a storm like that. Like it was pitch black.
Let me guess, Mary kept driving.
Yes. Yes. Even the police people were under the bridge, but not her. Not even just calm as a cucumber.
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
Well, I mean, if I sat there, I could get blown away. I just wanted to keep going, try to get out of it.
Yeah,
So-
you did.
And Carla was scared to death. She was sitting over there just saying, Mama, I think you need to stop.
Die today. My children need me. Awful.
There's
I-
some bad
I
weather
was-
coming across Oklahoma. When we were moving from, we lived in Lexington for just a little over a year, and we went from there, transferred to Albuquerque, and we were coming across 40. We had everything we owned in that old Chevrolet Impala, which wasn't much, but it was loaded. And we were coming across there, and it come one of the bad storms, and it literally blew the windshield wipers off our car.
Oh,
Literally
what?
blowed them off. And we
Goodness.
couldn't even see the road. I mean, we finally got to a place that we could stop, and had to go to a garage and have some more windshield wipers put on the car. It was just,
my
it was a
goodness.
very, very scary,
Yeah.
very scary drive.
Yeah. Well, when Linda lived in Wichita Falls, there was a tornado coming, and we all knew it was, but we opened the front door and looked, and we seen it. That long spiral thing, and it was coming right toward us. And I'm standing in the door rebuking it. I'm standing in that door saying, in Jesus' name, let that thing go. Let that thing disappear. I mean, I wasn't hiding or running or nothing. I was just saying, in Jesus' name, let that storm disappear. It gives me chills to think about it. Did you know I stood right in that door, and Linda can confirm it, and watched that thing go up and
it's,
disappear? Didn't it?
You prayed that one away. I have been way too close for comfort in Jackson, Mississippi on South State Street when I was with Pat and James Douglas, and we had stopped to get gas, and we saw that one coming toward.
Yeah.
And it turned. We were praying too.
Yeah.
And it turned and went across the river into
It
Flowood.
done some damage while it was doing its bit, but it didn't get to us. But it was close, wasn't it, Linda? It was close.
You don't mess with storms in Texas or Mississippi or Oklahoma or Alabama.
Linda, your neighbor, didn't they have a storm cellar? Didn't you go in it?
They did. We went in there once.
Did you? I thought you did.
That tornado story is my favorite story when we lived there, because while you were praying, my kids was in their bedroom throwing toys in their backpack.
Packing.
They were packing their toys.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. I love when the wind is blowing and everything. So I grabbed my camera and I was documenting everything.
And you got a picture of it, don't
I
you?
got a yeah.
Yeah.
I love it that the boys knew that was their priority, getting their
Yeah.
toys together.
Get their toys.
That's cute. Well, is it time? Almost? Okay, let me turn the light
It
on.
might not quite. I think you said it might not be done at 20 minutes, though,
It
right?
might not.
So,
Speaking of storms, the ship that I was just on, the Vista, they're going right where we did,
Oh, really?
and they have no power.
Oh, no.
because of the hurricane,
Because
Can
of
you
the hurricane.
imagine being out in the ocean
Yep.
on a boat with no power?
I can't.
Goodness.
I'm telling you, I've been in a hotel 3 times where there was no electricity. Galveston, hurricane had hit Galveston, and I would have to go back to calculate in my head what year this was, but when this is when I was traveling with my job, and we they booked, the travel team, they booked these hotels like 2 or 3 years in advance. So they had this Hilton booked right there on the water. And so, when it come time, the storm had already passed, and, the higher ups, powers that be, decided, they didn't want to miss that work. So we went, and knowing that there was no power in that hotel, and it was spooky as all get out.
Yeah.
Because, anybody that's traveled a lot know that if you're going to stay in hotels, you need a flashlight, for that reason, if the power was to go out. And then I was in Florida one time, and the power went out, and you had to take the stairs. And it is ever more spooky when you're in a hotel by yourself and you're trying to see down a dark stairwell, not knowing who's around the corner. And I'm not a scared person. If I was scared, I'd have never done what I done.
Yeah.
But it is very scary. And when we went to Mississippi the last time, you can better believe I had a flashlight packed in that suitcase.
I don't think I did.
Galveston, for those of you who don't know, the worst disaster in the state of Texas, and this has helped the record. And shoot, I should have known what year this was the hurricane. Was it 1929? I want to say it was 19. I may be wrong, but it was the worst hurricane, the worst disaster in the state of Texas. And I can't remember what the second one was, but the third one was the London explosion. Yeah. The school.
1900.
1900. Okay, thank you, Linda. I was a little few years ahead of time. But it's very scary, and I've never been in a hurricane. Y'all been in Angleton when hurricanes were coming.
Yes. We lived in Angleton, and we lived in a mobile home. And we went to Houston to get because they were telling us to get out. So we did. We went to Houston and stayed with his sister. When we come back, that end of that mobile home had scooted. Yeah. It's still on the box, but it had scooted over. You remember that?
I do.
Very, very low-lying areas.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should tell this or not, but I'm going to because it's funny, and I'm going to tell it. So Aunt Marie was our daddy's sister, and she was a big cut-up. She left Texas and went to Pennsylvania, married, raised her family, and lived there for many, many years. Yeah. And Aunt Marie was really high-spirited. She's very opinionated and just very high-spirited. And so she pretty much run her household. Uncle Jim, we used to feel sorry for him because, she would tell it like it was. I mean, she didn't care who was around her. So they were in Florida. They lived in Homestead, Florida, and this was Hurricane, and again, I can't think of the name of it. I should.
I didn't think I'd ever forget.
My tongue.
But wasn't Carla, was it?
No.
There was a hurricane named Carla.
I keep saying Duke and Ike, and I don't know if it was either one of them.
It's just right on the end of my tongue, and I cannot remember which one that was.
They were down there, and they had retired down there. And was it Aunt Marie or Uncle Jim that had a broke toe? It was one of them.
I don't remember.
I think it was Aunt Marie.
Maybe so.
She probably kicked something. I don't know that for sure, y'all.
Yeah.
I can just see my Aunt Marie. She had Pinkie Paw's laugh, and she was a character. She reminded me of Pinkie Paw and Aunt Virgie's, who she reminded me of, because they were such big cut-ups. But their daughter, they had 3 daughters, and one of their daughters called and to see if they were making preparations. I mean, they'd been evacuating for hours, and they were still there.
I'm trying to think. Harvey? I'm still trying to think of that.
Harvey? I don't know.
They're not done.
So
Katie always spoke really highly of Aunt Marie. And when I told her I was naming my daughter Mindy Marie, she got real excited.
Yeah, that was her friend. That's the one that introduced Mama.
And Mama were
Daddy.
best friends.
Yeah.
She's the one that Aunt Marie.
His middle name is also Marie.
Yes, it is. Aunt Marie introduced Daddy to introduce Mama to Daddy. So our cousin Sue, I think it was Sue, that called and said, y'all packing, y'all getting ready to leave? And they were just, happy go lucky. They wouldn't. She said, y'all get in your cars and get out of there. And they got on the road, and I'm pretty sure it was Aunt Marie that had the broke toe. And I can just imagine what all she said during this time, trying to get whatever they could get in their cars. And they had been married for a long time, right?
Yeah, their kids were grown.
When they got back home, Uncle Jim filed for divorce. He wasn't putting up with it anymore.
Because they sat in the car for 2 or 3 days. Wasn't it 2 or 3 days?
It was bad.
They was in the car for...
And they divorced.
Yeah.
They divorced her.
That was such a shock to me.
And he went back to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised. He said, I couldn't stand being shut up that woman. I could not take it.
I know this is probably not anything really nice to tell, but it was so funny.
Yeah, I couldn't hardly believe that they actually did it because, like you said, they'd been married a long, long time.
And
but she bossed him around so bad.
She was real bossy. And she went back to Florida, and she stayed. She moved to another place. It was close to Tampa. I went to see her when I was working in Tampa, and she thought I was going to spend the night with her.
She owned a jewelry store in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And she said, Linda Faye, she said, I don't have no room. I said, oh, Aunt Marie, I've got a hotel. I'm not coming to spend the night. I just want to come over and see you. Yeah. So anyway, it was real funny. And then, but she did finally go back to Oil City.
Yes, she did.
And she was in a nursing home. She was there. Yeah. I went to see her there. I was coming from somewhere going, who knows where anyway. I was coming from west going east, and I was right within 75 miles of her. So I called and asked, could I come by? And so I did, and Sandy was there at the nursing home. The very next day, she fell in the parking lot and broke her hip after I went to see her. Yeah. And I mean, she didn't go outside while I was there. We just sat in the room and visited. But and then that was the downfall, and not too long after that, she passed away. Yeah. But and it was in the winter.
I can't remember how
she died in the winter because they couldn't even bury her because the ground was frozen.
Yeah, well, I don't remember that, but her daughter, my cousin Sandra, I was always really close to her.
Yeah, I dreamed about my cousins the other night.
I would love to see those girls so bad.
I dreamed about them.
You know, they come to see Mama pretty often. Sue did.
Yeah.
After and Marie, now Sandra come to see Bobby and I right after we got married. Her and Dwayne both.
That was in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sandra and Dwayne.
That was the last time. Well, no, I saw Sandy when I went to see Aunt Marie.
That's the last time I saw her. That's been 50 something years ago.
Yeah, that's been a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I sure wish I could see her.
But they used to come every summer, and they were highfalutin, you know, or at least that's what we all thought.
What we thought.
Y'all don't know what highfalutin is. That's like they were higher up than us little lowly East Texans were. Yep. And little did we know they didn't. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have air conditioners. And Aunt Marie told me about when I went to see her. She told me about on their trip down there one summer. They didn't have air conditioning in their car, and you know when you get past the Mason-Dixon line, you really wish you had air conditioner really bad. And so they had the windows rolled down, and somehow or another she had a new blouse that must have been not secured in the car. It blew out the window, and she had a knipper.
I bet she did too. I bet she did too.
That blouse flew out the window.
She dressed to the kilt. You know, she was real.
But every summer she did. She was a very, very sharp dresser. Every summer. Now, they did miss some, but mostly every summer they came.
And you know what we done every summer?
Yep. Everything had to be clean from top to bottom, and my mama kept a clean house. Yeah. She did not. You did not go in her house, and it was dirty.
We re-wallpapered
the
house every summer.
Put new linoleum down.
We did.
And the worst part, y'all, you know, I didn't have this beautiful face like my sister does,
good Lord.
This beautiful hair like my sister does. So she had to get me down on the floor, and she would give me a permanent. My little frizzy head. I hated it for days after then. I looked like not an afro, but my hair was terrible. But I got a permanent every time right before they came. So I would have a little bit of body to my fine thin hair.
Well, Mama gave me perms too. My cake tester, did I already get it out? I had it out a while ago.
Don't be bougie, just get a toothpick.
Oh well.
But we had some fun times in the
I'll just
summer.
use this one.
Waiting on them to show up.
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
And then Mama looked out the window one day, and Aunt Marie, she saw Aunt Marie open the refrigerator, and she had a gallon of milk up to her mouth, drinking out of the jug.
Who? Aunt Marie?
Aunt Marie.
Oh, I can't
Mama
believe
said,
that.
We ain't highfalutin. We don't even do that in our house.
Those cakes are not quite done.
No,
in the middle.
So what? You want me to put it on about another?
Not another 5 minutes, I guess.
Okay.
I could just show it to them. In the morning. They'll be done.
Yeah, you could. That's up to you.
Yeah. The cake's like a few more minutes being done, so I'll just take a picture and put it on our page, and then in the morning you'll see them. I cool them on the rack, and then I wrap them in plastic, and then I'm gonna put them in the freezer.
You got room in your freezer? That's my problem. I don't have room for nothing. I'm gonna have to take some
things out. You're right. I will.
Anyway, it's fun reminiscing and visiting with y'all, and we love y'all, and thank y'all so much for watching us.
Thank y'all so much. Don't forget to count your blessings, and I will post a picture of these cooling on the rack when they come out because we've already been on here over an hour. So we love y'all. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you tomorrow, and we will be dressing the cake and doing the frosting and showing you the complete butterscotch cake. Bye. Bye-bye.